Hello everyone, and today I'm going to show you an example about the Go routine and how does the Go run the web server with the usage of the net packages. So I have done the example of the code, and in the code we have the two sides. The one side is a server side and another side is a client side. And in the server side, what we do is use the net package to listen to the TCP request from our local host with the port of 3000, and we put the handle of the connection in the for loop because we want to run the server constantly, and in each connection we just handle the connection in our handle connection functions, and we just receive the request from the client side and output it, and then we just simulate the time consuming and response with the string of the hello world. And in the client side we also use the net package, and we just dial the TCP network connections to the local host with a port of 3000, and we just receive a string from our STD input and treat it as the request parameter to our TCP connections, and we just connect to our server side using this code, and we just output the response from the server side in the end of the code. So let me just run our server side code, and here it is. And in our terminal, I just wanted to first I want to clear out my previous log, and I just want to run our client side code, and because we want to input some parameter of the request from our STD input, so I just input another for client 1, and what we can see is that the server side output the log of the request that values with the client 1, and after 5 seconds our client side received the response from our server side. Here it is. So for example, if I want to simulate the case that 3 customers from our client side just send the request almost at the same time, what will happen? So the first people send the request 1, and the second people send the request 2, and the third people send the request 3. And what we can see is that we have already sent the request from our client 3, but after a few seconds did our server side handle the request from our client 3. And I can show you again. 1, 2, 3. You can see that the request from our client 1 to client 3 is outputted with a log in order that is the same with the order of the request sent from our client side. So I want to show you in the debug mode. So here I started the server side programming again, and from here it means that the server side is listening to the new connection from the client side, and when I try to step into the next step, nothing happened. This is because that only after the new connection comes to the server side where the server side steps to the next step. This is called the blocking, because this step is a blocked step only if the new connection is coming. So I just want to send a new connection from our client side from client 1. So I just run client 1, and you can see that the block is cleared up, and the program is stepped into the second step. And in the second step, we deal with the connection and just blocks here again, because we are imitating the time consuming in the server side. And after the time consuming, the server side responds the hello world to the client side, and we can see the client side has outputted the hello world. Yeah. Yes, hello world. So let me see what will happen if we send our request almost at the same time. The client 1, the client 2, and the client 3. So what happens here is that the server will deal with the connection from the client side sequentially, order by order. Only after the first handle of the connections finishes will the server handle the second connections. So the first connection is finished, and the server will step to the second handle of the connections for the second connections. So this is in the second connection from the client 2, and the server will output the hello world 5 seconds later. And in the third connections, the same handle will happen again. So it is no strange that the log in the server side will output the request logger in the order that is the same with the order of the request from the client side. So the request client 1, request client 2, and request client 3. That is why this happens. So in the last section, we found that the sequence of the handle connection is running in the same order of the request from our client side. That is because the handle connection is always running in the main thread, in the main goroutine. So what if I put my handle connection in the different goroutine except the main goroutine? What will happen? So let me do that. Just by putting a go keyword in front of the handle connection, it means that every time the new connection comes, the go will start another new goroutine to deal with it, and our handle connection will be running in different goroutine for different connections. In the next sections, without the go keyword in front of the handle connections, our new connections will be running in the main thread, and only before the previous connection is handled finished will the second connection be started to run. So let me check the behavior when we start the handle connection in different goroutines. I just run the programming and send the request from our client 1 and client 2, and client 3. It shows that after I enter my enter key in the terminal, the log of the request is showed up immediately, and it means that the programming will not blocks here anymore. So let me just debug it for a while. Debug it. Give some key point about the breakpoint. First here, and another is here. So the request from client 1 is sent, and from the client 2 is sent. So you can see that the handle connection is run immediately. It's not blocked anymore. This is because that this is a for loop, and the new connection comes in, and the programming gets the new connection, and the programming put the new connection to the handle connection and let it run in the background, and the programming go to the second round of the for loop for the accept of the new connections, and the new connections comes and it immediately steps to the second step, which will put the new connection to the background again. So no matter how many new connection comes in, the programming will put the new connection into background immediately. I just want to show you up again. Client 1, client 2, and client 3. So the first round of the connection, just put it in the background, and the second request comes and it launch up a connection and put it in the background, and the third connection comes and it launch and it put the connection in the background. So no matter how many time consuming is put it here, the time consuming is run in the background. So the main thread will go constantly for the loop. So that's what I want to show you. So for a summary is that if we don't put the hand of the connection into the background, the program is running like this. The client 1, client 2, and client 3. Only after the client 1 handle is finished will the client 2 be running, and only after the client 2 is finished, the client 3 will start to run. And if we put the programming into a concurrency, you can see that the server will receive the connection at the same time and put it in the background. So that's all.